Hi everyone, welcome to another series of budgeting and learning about finances for your average millennial human being, just person really, because I think probably most people do not know anything about setting a budget, having financial goals, etc., etc. This is just meant to be my experience as a normal person having to learn all of this basically from scratch, in the hopes that it will be able to help you out. In the hopes that it will be able to help you out in the future. Also, just help me document this experience so I can look back and, look at all my progress and, be able to constantly learn and change and evolve. This is definitely, I'm calling this a budgeting part 2, I guess. Really, I guess I would call it the philosophy of budgeting, in the sense that budgeting is also the physical act of setting a budget, but it also requires you to change your mindset around money and change your mindset around spending in general, right? Because you can do all the work of creating a budget or finding a budget online, but until you emotionally decide to commit to your financial goals, nothing is going to happen. And this is just talking from experience. I, for a long time, was pretty frivolous in my spending. I was young and stupid and I had a great time and went on a lot of vacations or trips with friends and whatnot, but I wasn't so forward thinking. I definitely wasn't as forward thinking as I am now in regards to budgeting. Whereas now I'm looking more towards the future, realizing that I do in fact have this, 70 plus year life ahead of me, and I don't want to be spending it working. All right, well, I'm someone who likes work, so I actually do like working, but I do want to work for the rest of my life, but I do not in fact want to have to work, and there's a difference. I want to be able to have the choice to say, I cannot, I'm not coming in today because I want to go to my daughter's recital, or me and my family need some family time. We're taking today off and we're going to go take a hike or something. And I know I want that type of security. I know my boyfriend wants that. And that is just going, kind of, my boyfriend likes to call it fuck you money. Meaning you can do whatever you want, and say fuck you to whoever. Fuck you to whoever's telling you to do something else. Which he's not wrong. I mean, he's not wrong. That definitely is a way to look at it. So, the philosophy of budgeting, some of the steps towards this philosophy and changing your mindset around money. Definitely one, set explicit goals. I cannot stress this enough because setting general goals is honestly non-committal bullshit. I'm going to be cursing a lot in these videos, FYI. Just keeping it real, folks. And what I mean by that is when it comes to specific goals, like I want to save $1,000 in 1 month, you can very easily tell whether or not you met that goal at the end of the month. Whereas save more money is not a specific goal, and you can't tell if you've actually, and at the end of the month, if you have or have not saved $1,000, you'll be able to say, okay, well, if you did, you say, yay, great, what I did worked. And if you don't, and you say, oh, okay, well, I saved $9.50, that's probably just, chump change. I'm going to have to be a little bit better at not going out and buying water bottles every single day. Maybe I'll go to Target and buy a pack for the week, and that'll be cheaper, and that'll kind of compound every week, and I'll hit that 50. Or if you only did 500, maybe that means that you have to reevaluate your goals. Whereas if your goal is to just save money, at the end of the month, it's not concrete enough of a goal to be able to analyze your successes in changing your habits and your failures in changing your habits. And that leads into my next point is, don't think of this as saving money, saving this, getting a hold of your finances. Think of this as changing your financial habits. So what that means is you're not waking up this type of financial security and things like that are not just made by investing $50,000 of one large lump sum into the next big thing. I mean, that's great. It does happen to some very lucky people. But financial security and being able to feel great about being able to feel safe in your monetary choices is a habitual thing. And what I mean by this is I go to the gym, right? I go to the gym. I'm a very healthy human being. When I first started going to the gym, I saw absolutely no progress. You see how, and this is true for everyone. Unless you're a very heavy set person, in which case going to the gym and changing your diet, obviously, that'll probably kickstart it and you may see quick results. You're not going to see results right away. And this is something that I tell all my friends. This is something that I've had to tell my mom, that you have to, in order to first see like real change for people who have never gone to the gym before, it's going to take at the very least 3 months. And I even have to remind this of myself too, as you go through bulking and cutting phases, is that it takes a minimum of 3 months to really see a change in your body. In the same way that, and that's because it's not about going to the gym once a week and going super hard. It's about making yourself go every day. Now, taking that same perspective and applying it to money, it's not about not buying a $200 sweater, right? It's not about spending $500 on one stock, right? It's about saying, okay, every time I get my paycheck, I'm going to transfer money into my savings account. It's about saying, okay, my friends asked me to go out tonight. I can go out with them, sure. Maybe I'll have a drink at home first, and then I'll only have one drink there. This way I can still participate instead of going and having 3 drinks there by myself. Not by myself, but 3 drinks there. And in that case, your bill out goes from a $50 bill to a $15 bill. Where you're creating habits, you're creating different habits. And note about this is really fucking hard. What you're essentially doing is exercising a different muscle that you're not used to exercising. And again, we can go back to a gym analogy. When you first start working out at the gym, you're pumping your iron and stuff. It's gonna really fucking hurt for the first month or 2 or 3, and then your muscles start to remember and get accustomed to that type of use, and it starts to get easier. And all of a sudden, you go from bicep curling 10 pounds to bicep curling 30 pounds, no problem. And that progress happens, again, not overnight, but over a series of, I would say, at least 3, 4, 5 months. Similar here, when you're starting to get towards that financial freedom aspect. We talk about financial freedom. I don't even really want to go into that because that is a whole other difficult thing. But just setting aside money, saving, budgeting, it's really hard. You're essentially exercising a muscle to not indulge yourself. You're essentially exercising a muscle to say, I'm going to make myself happy in 5 or 10 years instead of right now. And we are not programmed for this because for most of our evolutionary history, we did not know if we were going to be alive in 12 hours, let alone 5 to 10 years. The third thing I would recommend during this transformation you're going through, is setting aside money for joy. So again, this shit is fucking hard. You are exercising a muscle in non-current self-indulgence, which, think about people who, if you take an analogy of people who are dieting, oftentimes when they go cold turkey, they end up binging after they can't handle it anymore. Similarly, I know in my experience, there have been times where I went completely cold turkey. I said, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not doing anything. And then the next month comes and I said, oh my God, I did so well. I'm going to allow myself to buy a new sweater, which is fine. 100% fine. What is not fine is then saying I'm going to continue to buy new clothes and then spend another $500 on clothes. And all of a sudden, all those gains that you made were broken in, a 2 hours online shopping session. That's why it's so important to set aside money for joy, for things that you like. And this is part of the budgeting, right? Is you're budgeting in things that you like to do. So set aside money for joy. You could set aside, if you make, let's say, $3,000, you could set aside $50 a week towards going out towards pleasure money, and everything else you're going to put into your savings account or into anything else. The last thing I'm going to recommend especially when you're getting started off is AutoSet shit. I cannot stress how important and absolutely crucial this is for your initial the initial portion of your journey. Basically what happens when you auto set your stuff to transfer, you auto set it. I personally set my auto sets to happen on Friday when one of my paychecks is deposited. And what this means is that when I open my accounts on Friday, everything has already been transferred into this new account, into my savings account. So when I open and look at my checking account, I think I have less money than I did last week, or than I'm used to, right? Especially if you're just starting this from the beginning, you're going to have less money than you're used to. So let's say you're used to depositing $1,000 each week, which, I guess that's a $48,000 a year salary, roughly. So, probably general middle class human. If I were you, I would set, this is not financial advice, this is an example. When you auto set to have it transfer from your checking account to your savings account, you'll open up your bank account on Friday and see you have $900 in there instead of $100, and your mind will say, okay, well, I have $100 less dollars. I have to find a way to spend $100 less dollars this week. Because unfortunately, what happens with most people is life creep. So an interesting analogy is goldfish actually, it will expand and will feed and expand and grow to fit the environment that they're in. So we know them as like little baby goldfish, but they can actually grow pretty big if you give them a big pond or something like that to swim around in. Even if at home, if you, instead of the little teeny fish bowl, you give them a big fish tank and you have like 1 or 2 or 3 of them in there, they'll actually get pretty large. So similarly with our money, when we get a payment increase in some way, shape, or form, we think, oh, I have more money, now I can spend more. And this is what's called lifestyle creep, where you go from making, let's say, $2,000 a month to $3,000 a month. And what a lot of people will do is they'll buy a new house. Buy a new house, buy a new car. They start going out for dinners, at least once a week when they only went out once a month. And what auto setting will do is it'll trick your mind into thinking you have less money, because you have committed to not touching that's what savings are there for. They're there to not use, they're there to save. So you only work out of your checking account and you say, oh wow, I actually have less money, so I have to do less. So it'll be easier for you to forego those other things that you normally would do. These are just some tips that that have helped me a lot in learning this journey, learning how to kind of get my finances on track and feel better about money in general and feel like I don't have to worry about it. I think that's what that's my goal for money. I think that's a lot of goals for money. That's a lot of people's goals for money, is just to not necessarily have to worry about it all the time. Thank you for watching. If you liked what I had to say, like, comment, share, subscribe, share it with your friends, subscribe. I'm going to keep making videos like this because I'm just a normal human, going on this journey. And I hope that, I think a lot of other people are on this journey too. And none of us are really taught how to do any of this. So, I am definitely going to recommend some books that I've been reading. I'm going to link them in the comments to them. I highly recommend reading. They've helped me look at money differently. I actually did a book review on one of them. I'm going to start doing book reviews on more financial books as well. Hopefully I'll be able to do that once a week. So if you liked this, share, subscribe, take a look at some of my other videos. Other than that, have a fulfilling day.